said he didn't want the transfer of any detainees to the United States.
We have a different point of view. I happen to believe if they're brought here to be put on trial, they obviously need to be held in the course of the trial and perhaps incarcerated afterwards. Presently, today, we have 348 convicted terrorists in the prisons of the United States of America, and a large percentage of them are from overseas. They're being held safely and securely with no threat to the American people. I do believe we have to look at the bottom line here. The president is right in saying Guantanamo is more than a detention facility. It's become a symbol. And sadly, it's become an organizing tool around the world for terrorism. Now, the sooner that we bring Guantanamo to a close, the better.
Now, yesterday, before Congress, FBI Director Robert Mueller said that it could be problematic to have Guantanamo, that they may get involved in gang activity. They may even seek to recruit people to terrorism. Do you share those concerns?
Well, we asked the FBI after that testimony if the director was saying that you couldn't safely hold a Guantanamo detainee in a supermax facility in the United States, and he said no, he didn't say that, and obviously he wouldn't. There's never been an escape from one of those facilities in the United States. As to whether or not anyone being held in a prison, whether it's a gangbanger from the streets of Chicago or New York, or someone involved in terrorism, might have a network of friends to be worried about, of course we should worry about them. But let's be very candid about this. Closing Guantanamo is putting an end to something which is causing problems across the world. The United States has an image from Guantanamo that is not helping us win friends and win allies in the war on terrorism.
In terms of bringing detainees to American shores, putting them on American soil, there's also this idea that was illuminated by Pentagon officials yesterday that if the United States doesn't agree to take some of these prisoners, why would any other country around the world take them?
Well, that's a very obvious point. This notion that somehow we'll take these dangerous detainees and ship them all over the world, but wouldn't consider putting them even in a supermax facility in the United States, may be a little hard to sell to our allies and friends.
So, Senator Durbin, you said that you agree with the provision to not give the president the $80 million that he wants at the moment to close Guantanamo. He's going to make an appeal again today during this significant speech that he's giving at 10 o'clock this morning, a little after 10 o'clock, in which he'll again talk about the importance of closing Guantanamo. What do you want to hear from him today?
Well, I think the president's going to start to lay out a plan. This is a complicated issue, and do remember that President Bush called for the closing of Guantanamo himself, but couldn't get the job done because it's extremely complicated. Let me just also add, I'm aware of one detainee who's been there for 7 years. A year ago, our government notified him that they had no charges against him. He could be released as soon as they found a country to send him to. But Senator, they've been unable to. He continues to be held.
But, Senator, it looks like the president is not going to outline the plan that you're looking for today. So how long will you defer this money?
Well, I can tell you this money should be deferred through this fiscal year, which goes to October 1st. I think that's a reasonable thing to do. I want to give the president time to work through this carefully. I do believe at the end of the day that we'll see transition from the Guantanamo facility to a secure setting for detainees and the release of those for whom sufficient.
Will he be able to make that pledge of closing Guantanamo by January 22nd of 2010?
I can't answer that. I really leave that in the hands of the president. It's a tough job he's been given, but he's inherited a lot of challenges. I know he'll handle this well.
Senator Dick Durbin, it's great to catch up with you. Thanks for coming in this morning.
Thank you, too.